it's not your fault that you don't know infinite banking. What it is once you hear about it and you choose to ignore it, now it's your fault. But by and large, you were given a system controlled by Wall Street, controlled by the government, controlled by other people, but you're the one that's not been in control. And so you got to start asking yourself, do you want control? Because once you hear this, at this point forward, now you're the one that's at fault. If you don't take action, it's up to you. And you can delay it. You can kick the can down the road. You can pass it on to the next generation. It happened to me, right? This system's been around for over 200 years. Yep. My family kicked the can until me. And I chose to stop. I chose to stop the generational poverty. Because again, we don't come for money. I don't.
Welcome back to another episode of WealthWise Banking, where I'm here with my esteemed colleague and friend, Jeremy Lee Huggins. And today we're going to talk to you about gratitude. We're going to ground in gratitude. We're going to celebrate. We're going to do some high fives because we are celebrating something big today. We're going to share that with you as we go. But let's start off with what this year in 2025 has looked like for Jeremy. I know, Jeremy, you got a lot on your heart to be grateful for and kind of what this system and what we've done together has meant to you. So how are you, brother?
Yeah, man, like it's been a rough year, but working with you and other professionals and having the systems and stuff that we talk about has really made it, given a lot of peace of mind and comfort. And that's why we kind of really wanted to talk about this episode today of gratitudes. For me personally, I try to express a gratitude every single day. There's something to be grateful for, if nothing more than just the air in our lungs when we wake up in the morning.
I love that. I mean, that is something to be grateful for. And if you don't have a gratitude practice, if you're listening, if you're not driving, if you're safe, make sure you're writing down a few things. What was brilliant in your day? What are you grateful for? And if you start making this a habit, a routine, that gratitude, you can't hold two intentions, two emotions simultaneously. So grounding yourself in gratitude is a launching point for everything we're going to talk about. But Jeremy, like you said, you've had a rough year. There's been that one constant in life, Jeremy. What is it? You know it by now after a year. What is it?
It's change. Things are always changing.
Daddy. All right. He knows it's change. That's good, Jeremy. We're growing together. But could you share a little bit more about some of the challenges, some of the change that you've experienced in your year?
Yeah. I mean, it's gone everything from rental properties with bats in an attic, permitting delays, structural issues. Like I had to take off the entire back part of a property due to wood rot this year. So financial issues, like massive financial issues that we've kind of talked a little bit on the podcast about, but there's been a lot deeper ones before too, right? And still trying to get some projects over the finish line. Like I've got a vacation rental. It'll bring this one property to 9 bedrooms and 7 baths. And we're still trying to get it to the finish line, like here in Savannah. It's a vacation rental, right? But the one that really hit me hard, and I haven't talked publicly about it, is we got stage 4 cancer in my family. It's not me, it's my father. But I found out about almost 2 months ago now. And when I think about the gratitudes and the opportunity to go and spend Thanksgiving with him, and it made me a little bit more reflective on my personal life and the systems that we've built to protect my family. I just kind of wanted to talk and share a little bit about how gratitudes and practicing gratitude on a daily basis really helped me overcome some of these challenges, and knowing that I have a secure system in place that was really the safety net for everything, whether it be finances, health, care, whatever it was.
And brother, thank you for sharing your heart. I know that's not easy for you to share, and just curious, like we haven't talked about this off air, on air, but how is your father doing? I know you were able to spend some time over the holidays recently. How's he doing?
Yeah, so 2 days ago, he got some pretty good news, right? So the tumor and everything that kind of started the whole cancer has been shrinking. So he's been responding favorably to the chemotherapy, the radiation. That's going, because it kind of spread to his bones as well. So they're hitting him with chemo and with radiation. There's a little bit of mixed reviews with the radiation in the bones, but the chemotherapy is responding well.
That's a blessing to hear. I know I have a similar journey in my family, which I shared before with my sister, spreading similar to your father. And you're not saying a, hey, me too thing, but just I understand the questions that start coming up as, a loved one, especially. I mean, I couldn't imagine my parents going through what you're going through. So we really appreciate that. And, something you say to me all the time that I want to anchor in on a little bit is, how lucky are we to have these problems in our life.
Yeah.
Right. So many people would be jealous or think that they want these kind of problems, but we get to wake up every day with these opportunities, right? Because everything is either a blessing or a lesson. So these lessons, whether it's an opportunity to get closer to our family, whether it's an opportunity to be there for someone, whether it's an opportunity to, like you said, with the vacation rental, to be able to get this unit up and running so people can enjoy the beauty of Savannah. Like, you're the best tour guide ever. Like, I learned so much walking around Savannah with LB and you. Like, it was like being with a professional tour guide with the passion there. So I guess talk a little bit about, like, you talked about the foundation, but go a little deeper on the things that you're grateful for with this year.
Yeah, I mean, you just nailed it when it comes to how blessed are we to have these problems, right? And that's something I was pumping gas, actually, just kind of feeling overwhelmed a few months ago with all the different things that were like hitting me in my life, financially, spiritually. And it just kind of just stepped back for a moment. I was like, how blessed am I to have these problems? Like, these are the problems that I'm blessed to have, and I'm blessed to be able to solve these problems, right? And I think that was really the shift, and where I started expressing what I call daily gratitudes and recognizing, like you said, they're either lessons, right? Or would you say lessons or blessings?
That's it. Every night, pray the Connor. That's how we start. Thank you, God, for all the lessons and blessings in our life, because there's not something else. That's it. There's one or two. Simple frames, right?
Yeah. And, you know, we wouldn't be on this podcast and sharing these things about infinite banking if it wasn't part of that safety net and those lessons and the blessings that came along with them. When it came down to all the real estate, right, whether I'm replacing AC units or literally getting bats out, replacing the entire back part of a property, trying to get these permits and project over the finish line, where'd that liquidity come from? It came from my policies.
Fitting really expensive windows that have to comply with historic downtown Savannah, right? Like,
yeah, you saw all 32 of those windows, right?
Whew, they're beautiful windows, but man, they cost a little bit of money.
They do, yeah. And having the ability to just tap into that liquidity helped a lot. And then, bam, I'm hit with cancer in my family. And talk about a blessing, the opportunity to be able to go up and spend that time and kind of connect with my father and my stepmother up in the DC area, spend that Thanksgiving with him and my grandmother, and just reconnect more on I mean, for anyone who's lost a parent or they've have someone in their family with an expiration date, they always say, you know, treat every day like it's the last day. But it really means something different when that person has a known expiration date. And those moments, you try to make them a little bit more meaningful, if nothing else, more memorable. Perhaps that's the right way to say it. And infinite banking, I couldn't help but think about my own policies, right? We have structured in every single one of them long-term care. And if you need long-term care, you can tap into your policy for that, knowing that there's a death benefit that can help my family and recycle that just to pay the bills. I mean, the one guarantee that we have, right, you say is change, but part of that change is an expiration of ourselves as well. We don't know if we're going to need health insurance or car insurance or homeowners insurance, but the life insurance piece of infinite banking, it just really gave me a new reflection on what's important and why it's there, the meaning of the death benefit when this diagnosis hit my family.
And thank you for your sharing your heart with our listeners. And they're getting to really feel what you're feeling. They're going on the same journey. And I bet many of you are going through the same things in 2025. And the question, you know, right now is for you is like, what's one thing that you went through this year that exposed, like for Jeremy, what really matters? And did you have a system behind you, or were you on your own? Like, were you someone that, again, with change coming, were you proactive or reactive? Right, Jeremy, you always have a great way of kind of talking about this. Talk a little bit about the feeling of gratitude you had for your system, but what it is to be someone that can be proactive versus reactive.
Yeah, gratitude without preparation really is just a feeling, right? And we talk about borrowers and builders, but being a builder turns that plan into action. And when you start structuring it the way that we discuss and all the, this is episode 52. So,
whoa, wait a second. Wait a sec. Someone ring some bells. Woo, high five, high five, high five. 52? Holy cows. Somebody clap. If you're driving, clap. I don't care. Take your hands off the wheel. No, I didn't say that. But Jeremy, that is something to celebrate.
That is something else to be grateful for,
remember when you called me and said, Jason, I got something to talk. Jeremy, I'm really busy. Jason, I got something to talk to you about. I'm like, what is this guy? This guy's cool, but what's he want? Like, I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. You're like, we should do a podcast together. I'm like, I'm in. I've been wanting to do it, praying on it. I'm in. You guys have heard this, but Jeremy, congrats, brother. We have done the hardest thing. And what is that? We show up every week. And we look to add more value to you. And we get some really great feedback from our listeners, Jeremy. So just a quick moment on this. If you have insights, things you want to hear us talking about in 2026, we're going to have another episode where we're going to cover the highlights for each of us, because we each have different highlights, different things. But wow, like 52. I know this wasn't scripted, but like,
it goes right into the episode, right? We're talking about gratitudes, having the opportunity to meet with you every week. I mean, it's grateful to be able to share kind of what we do with the world, but also have the ability to just dialogue with you. And you've been sensational to help me get through a lot of these personal issues that I've had in my life, financial and spiritual and emotional. So I'm very grateful for that journey with you.
I mean, I love you, brother. When you asked that, yes, that was one of the best yeses I could have ever given. It's like the yes I received when, my lovely warrior goddess wife said yes to me. Then she said, maybe not now because I don't know if you're ready. But then she said yes again. But it's a big yes in life. And when we're intentional, I know we're not talking about partnerships today, but when you're intentional with your life, and when you start looking who's around you, who's in your life, and what would life look like if you actually started living it like you knew when your expiration date was, what would you change today? Mm-hmm. What would be some things that you would start? Who would you reach out to? Who do you need to repair things with? This is not what the episode's about, but just I want you to think, because we want to add value. And while that's present, I know that'd be something I'm going to work on for next year with my family, like this Sunday, going to see my dad, having some of these deeper conversations, because I get to see from your life, my friend, what's happening, what you're going through, and be able to be there together and like really build this brotherhood, relationship, friendship together. And we get to do what we love together. So back to borrowers versus builders, you were talking about all the things that are coming up. And we know, like I was driving the other day and I was listening to Ryan Holiday's new book. And I thought, oh my God, this is it. Everything of this game is shown to us. And everybody is so far away from their money that they don't even realize that they've become borrowers, consumers, that when they need things, they're reaching out to the bank, and the banks and marketing have created this great juggernaut that makes us all feel like the answer is over there with them.
Yeah. Yeah. I could have easily, if internet banking wasn't in my world, I could have easily gone to the credit cards or go into bank debt with a home equity line of credit, right? I would have had accumulating more debt, which would have done what, Jason? It would have put more stress on my life, right? Because now I owe someone rather than owing myself. We talk about being your own banker, but part of that process is the ownership. I'm accountable for me. I'm not accountable to someone else.
Yes. And for all you listeners out there, that I know you're listening because you see yourself as a sovereign, as independent, as strong, as a creator, whatever one of these adjectives describe you, maybe all of them. But think about that for a second. That's why you're listening to this, because you're like, you understand that silent, insidious, quiet stress that most people are living with today. And that's what happens when you give up your agency to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it goes from being, oh no, to I've got this, right? It's a stress mitigator. It's more empowering. I like that word, sovereignty. I do. I like it a lot.
I do too. And I mean, we're both building more and more towards sovereignty. And it happens, it's for every aspect of your life, folks, whether it's your relationships, your body, your money, right? And we're just talking about how do you build the most important asset you could ever have as a financial, right? As a financial, I'm trying to think of the right word. I want something really strong, but as a granite foundation, something that's just, it's not, you're not building on sand. And so,
Well, these policies are really the cornerstone. That's how I look at them. I look at them as a cornerstone of everything I do, financially, with relationships. Right? It helps me protect my family. When I talk about relationships, I'm not saying like, oh, I use the infinite banking concept to go through counseling. No, I'm saying it is the cornerstone of my relationship because the security, the protection piece behind it, and knowing that I have protection for my family. Like
mm,
that death benefit it's a whole new, it's a game changer for the way that I'm looking at it now. I've always looked at it as a leverage opportunity, but it means something. It actually like means a lot. And no one's ever complained about needing more money at the end of life, right? When you got to cut the check, and again, that check is guaranteed. That check is guaranteed to come. You're going to be happy that you have what you have, and you're not going to complain and say, "Man, I wish there was less." Are you?
yeah, and everything we're teaching, right? When you're talking about that moment too, because again, that's eliminating stress because you might not even know that you have this worry inside of you. Is I hope that if I'm not here, God forbid, that my kids, my family, my loved ones, my pets, whatever, right? Like the things I care about, uh my different charities, foundations is where I was looking for. Those things are things that you're making an impact and your name will live on if that's important to you, and you're going to take care of things, and that you've created something that maybe no one else has ever created in your family. For both you and I, Jeremy, we're first generation in this thoughts and in what we're doing.
Yeah, change has to begin somewhere.
Has to
It
begin
does.
somewhere.
And so I've decided to internalize it and make the change start with me. I'll be the first domino. And I know you're doing the same thing. And I love that we had Patty on and we've had Connor on because Connor showed us the second domino, right, in your
Yes.
family.
Yes.
And he'll be generation two.
Now that does a preview of what's coming up on a later episode that Jeremy and I haven't even talked about. But man, that was a fun, proud dad moment. But for all of you listening, right? When you think about your year, is there a time that you caught yourself? Because if you have old patterns, have you caught yourself reacting like a borrower? Or maybe you've been listening and you've been building that foundation where you actually felt like a builder who's planned ahead. So when this guarantee comes of change, when you're replaying that year in your mind, were you reacting or were you responding with a plan you built on purpose?
I think that's the key right there, right? Built on purpose. It's intentional. Like what we do is intentional. There's meaning behind it.
And when we look at, you've talked about the protection, you've talked about how you were able to respond to bats, to rot, to really expensive windows, and to other things because you built up an opportunity fund. You had a plan.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we talk about this concept, the way it was taught to me, the way that you talk about it, we say it's a both and asset.
Yep. Both and. That's correct. Not either or, it's both and.
And who doesn't want a both and? Like, I want my cake and I want to eat it too, even though I put on like 7 or 8 pounds during the holidays so far. But we'll work on that. We'll work on that. So, Jeremy, let's get a little bit specific, about how you building this both and asset has really stepped up when these emergencies came. And this is why you're grateful to have this set up.
Yeah. So financially, yeah, a lot of those were some real estate surprises, right? I wasn't expecting to drop tens of thousands of dollars in projects this year. But if you don't want to be a slumlord, you got to take care of your rentals at the end of the day. And I care about my tenants. I deeply do care about them. We go through a pretty extensive background checks, and I want to say like underwriting, but everyone gets along, and I care about them. I want to make sure that they live in places that they can come home to and feel safe and feel secure, right? Because they have their own families there. And I look at it as a personal obligation to help those people. Like that's what you do, is you help people. And at the end of the day, you give them a safe place to live. And I needed to do that. And rather than thinking about going into bank debt and credit cards and HELOCs,
Mm.
instead I went to my actual plan. My actual plan was my own family bank. It was the Bank of Huggins.
Mm.
And going into my personal bank, I was able to both and strategy, right? I was able to borrow from myself, put it into the real estate asset. That asset fixed the problems so my tenants could feel safe and secure in their homes. But my value, my policy value, the cash value still kept growing every year, right? So even though I had these massive, unexpected surprises, I still had expected guaranteed returns inside the policy. And that was nice to know that my cash value was going up every single month, regardless of how much money I had to take out to fix these surprises.
Yeah, even if you're, and this is a fun, like if you're already practicing dividend banking and you're already working with one of these, large mutually owned dividend paying companies that Jeremy and I already have our banking system set up with, a fun fact to do, a fun thing to do that we just started, Jeremy, and I haven't got to share this with you, is we started tracking that, like, even with full, like, max loans out against our, cash value, the borrowing against, right? Like you're using it like a line of credit. That's how it grows, uninterrupted, compounding, and tax free. But you can also track the actual cash growth, and you can see it in some cases, on a week to week or even day to day basis. So we've been going in where we have the cash value tracked. We have a little note there that says, okay, on 11/22, it was this. On 12/1, it was this. On 12/10, it was this. And you can actually see it going up every day. And that just, what it does is it anchors in your certainty that this is actually always going from the left up to the right, and it never goes backwards, like ever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not market correlated, right? It's not tied to a stock market. It's not tied to real estate. It's not tied to cryptocurrencies. It's tied to the guarantees of the insurance carrier, which is, again, the only reason we work with mutual carriers who've been around for over 100 years, who have an A rating or better. Like who you're dating, right? You're financially dating those insurance carriers, it matters.
Yeah, it matters. And it matters to them that they're dating you too. It has to be a mutually symbiotic, everyone thrives kind of scenario.
Mm-hmm.
And this, like, I've seen Jeremy go through this. Like, he's not just saying, the things that people say when they're using these policies. Like, he's told me, like, we're building these episodes. He's like, Jason, I just had to take out a significant loan because this unexpected thing came up. And
I'm not afraid to, talk about the numbers too. I just got hit with a $122,000 bill this week.
This week?
Yep. This week. Yep. And we're not done yet. Like I told you, I'm building. So where'd the money come from? It came from my policies. Like I am not shy about talking numbers because people need to know this is real.
Yeah.
Like these are real. I mean, you walk through that apartment building here in Savannah, you, Diego, Patty, Connor, all four of you guys, like that.
What a cool place.
Yeah. I mean, vaulted ceilings, hardwood floors, 32 massive floor to ceiling windows. I mean, it's a gorgeous place, right?
Beautiful location, historic down. I mean, it's stunning and it's cool. And your passion, Jeremy's like showing us, look, when we raise the ceiling, it gives the feeling of even being bigger and more spacious. And we did this with the color and we did this with the molding. We like the amount of passion and attention to detail. It's no different than how you show up for every one of these episodes for everyone that's listening. And I just want people to know that about you. Like what you are on camera, on air is exactly the same as who, I mean, actually it's a little different because when you get off air, he knows something about everything. Like this guy knows like more, like in the cemetery, buried 5 blocks down over there on the right is one of the original founding fathers of the Constitution. Jeremy, why do you know that? Like just crazy stuff. Anyhow, we got off track a little bit. While you're sharing like the numbers are big, but when you have a big vision and a destination and you're the captain of your own ship, is it overwhelming, Jeremy?
Well, no, it's not overwhelming. And just to be clear, you don't have to have big policies either. You can start small. What it is it snowballs. I've been doing this for years.
Yes.
I didn't just start this year, right? But you have to start somewhere. I think that's really the more important message because there is a misnomer that you have to be wealthy to do this. No, you have to be responsible. That's what you have to be. You have to be, you have to care about your future. You have to be intentional. if you're responsible and intentional, we can start you wherever you want and help you map a plan to where you want to go. My stuff is big. Why? I dove in 2 feet, no looking back. I took a sizable portion of my income when I first started, and I just allowed it to continue snowballing over time. And that's what it is. The numbers didn't lie. And I believe in it wholeheartedly. Like I put my money where my mouth is. I practice what we preach on a daily basis.
And that you do. And for everyone listening to, like, you're thinking, how does this work for me? That's usually the question, Jeremy. They can hear your story. They can hear my story.
Exactly.
How we went from having $3,300 a month going to the family of Ford and Hyundai, water filtration system, debt consolidation. That's right, folks. I've screwed up a lot.
Yeah.
Right. And until bringing all that money back, building an opportunity fund, now having all that money out working for us, making us passive income. It's a complete mind shift, but it's only changing the one thing. And it sounds so stupid simple, but that's really what it is. And the gratitude you feel for yourself, the gratitude we're talking about is the gratitude that we had from taking action. And so whether you're like Jeremy and you jump in the deep end like a crazy person, or maybe you're wading up to the waist to see, like, I don't know if I want to get my boys wet or not. It's a little cold. Or you're just dipping your toe in the water, right? Like wherever you are, that is the perfect spot for you. And that's where we meet you on our strategy calls. Like when Jeremy and I are engaging, we're not going to tell you you have to build your policy like that. We're going to listen to the problem you bring, to where you're going, your destination, what you're grateful for, what you want, and what you're trying to do. And then we're going to look at your life. Where are you financially? Where are you mindset wise? And then that's how, when you book that strategy call with us and you have the conversation, that's how we're going to unlock the gratitude that we're talking about by implementing a system that just changes that one thing.
Yeah. And I think that's the real big key piece there is there's no one size fits all. There isn't. Do I believe everyone can practice? Absolutely. Absolutely, I believe you can practice. You may not be insurable, but that doesn't mean you can't practice infinite banking, right? We may just end up changing the product, who we're putting the policy on, something like that. But by and large, you can't surprise me. I've worked with everyone who does, I think the smallest policy I've done is like $100 a month, and then tens of thousands a month. Like I've seen so many different spectrums, and here's the thing, Jason, everyone gets treated the exact same. Every single person. Because my vision for my family is mine. Your vision for your family is yours. My job is to facilitate what you want. It's not to facilitate what I want, right? At the end of the day, what matters to you, no one cares more about your life than you. We've said this time and again. And if I can help be that guide, and I know you do this the same thing with your members, right? If you can be that guide and help them to get from where they are today to where they want to go, then we've done a good job. And I think that's the key thing is you got to listen to what it is that they want and design appropriately.
And I love that you said that, it's, man, there's a philosophy, there's a show called Bosch that I love, right? And he's always said that every person matters. Like if one person doesn't matter, then nobody matters kind of deal, right? Like everybody matters. And I have the same examples. Like I have someone that's 70 years old, collecting Social Security right now has been the last couple of years from her heart, helping a neighbor get through some really tough times, hasn't been able to really go out and earn the way she needs to. But now she wants to set this up, not only for she has, she owes T.O. Sam some money and she has some liquid money and she doesn't want him to get that money without it giving the generational legacy piece that we're talking about right now. And that's a very small policy. It's not even the one I would recommend, but guess what? She cared so much about it, Jeremy, that there was nothing, like she knew what she wanted. She was certain what the outcome was. And now she's in the process of getting approved versus, someone else that is paying millions of dollars of interest to the banks over a period of time. And it's one of our members, right? We're starting a giant policy on them to help them take back control. But no matter what, like you said, we're meeting someone where they're at. We're listening to what you want to accomplish. And then we're designing based on your goals and helping you make sure you accomplish those and you know how you're going to do it.
Yeah. And just so the listeners did capture that, how old is she?
70.
She's 70, right? So don't self-eliminate. That's what I really want to come out of that. Too many people think, oh, I have a prior health issue. I'm too old. I mean, the best time to start was yesterday, right? The second best time is now. And so long as you got air in your lungs, try. Never self-eliminate. If you... I tell folks from the get-go, I I will go for as long as you want. You will likely quit before I do.
And I have no doubt you should see this guy. He worries me a little bit, and it's coming from someone who thinks of himself as pretty tough with all the different Ironmans I've done. And Jeremy, you just mentioned something. The uncommon are playing by a different set of rules, right? The uncommon are playing by the rules that the common aren't playing by.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we're talking about gratitude, it's easy to be grateful when you stop playing by the rules designed by them, designed for you to lose. And you have this new book. I don't know if we were going to talk about, but you have a new book coming out, which I haven't even had a chance to read. Like, what the heck, man? But
I do have a book coming out. It's actually it's coming out December 30th. So
what?
Yeah.
I just learned about this, folks. Is that cool? That's not cool. Like, I just learned. I knew it was coming out this year, brother, but congratulations.
Yeah. So it's titled The Wealth Loophole: Stop Financing Banks, Start Funding Yourself. And in it, we talk a lot about the borrower mentality and the builders that are out there. And, by and large, people don't realize that you're already in banking. We sign off with it, right? You're just not the banker yet. And that saying comes from somewhere.
Wait, did you just end our episode? Or are we still going?
Oh, we're still going.
Oh,
yeah.
what? Okay. Just check it.
Yeah, but no, people just don't realize that they've been given a system. It's not your fault that you don't know infinite banking. What it is once you hear about it and you choose to ignore it, now it's your fault. But by and large, you were given a system controlled by Wall Street, controlled by the government, controlled by other people, but you're the one that's not been in control. And so you got to start asking yourself, do you want control? Because once you hear this, at this point forward, now you're the one that's at fault. If you don't take action, it's up to you. And you can delay it. You can kick the can down the road. You can pass it on to the next generation. It happened to me, right? This system's been around for over 200 years. Yep. My family kicked the can until me. And I chose to stop. I chose to stop the generational poverty. Because again, we don't come for money. I don't. I remember growing up eating meat, cheese, orange soda. That's what I ordered. Double cheeseburgers and an orange soda.
Oh man, that orange soda was so good back in the day.
Yeah. But this system, wealthy families practice it. Why? They talk about money. They talk about the things that make people uncomfortable. They talk about religion. They talk about politics. They talk about what makes the world go round. And your finances is that system and security. And when you take back the control and you practice banking, the actual practice of banking, you can end that generational poverty that so many of us inherited, or at least end the damn system that has enslaved ourselves for so long.
And Jeremy, where are we going to be able to get your new book that's coming out on the 30th, The Wealth Loophole: Stop Financing Banks, Start Funding Yourself? Where can people find that? Because I don't even know the answer yet. I want to be able to read that, brother. So
you'll be able to get it from Amazon. It'll be definitely on Amazon. That might be the easiest thing. You can go to my personal website, commonsensesolution.com, CENTS. You can get it from there. And we should probably post it on the WealthWise Banking.
That'd probably be a good idea for folks to be able to find it easier. So
it's not posted on any of those yet. Like I said, December 30th, that's the launch date, but that's where we're looking at it. And we're just going to be talking about taking back control, right? We'll discuss Ray Kroc, McDonald's. We'll talk about Walter Disney, Doris Christopher, a lot of folks who've used this system. It's more, it's not a mechanics book. It really is the why you should start. And opening up that system and me recognizing, I've had a lot of achievements in life, but I haven't had a lot of success. And success, we kind of discussed previously on another episode with Steve Naguib. Success is an optimized daily experience that's sustainable over time. And I had a lot of great achievements, but not a lot of success. And part of that was an eye-opening experience I had where I was like, man, I'm doing all the right things. I'm earning really good money in the military as an officer. I have my 401k. I have these investments. Why do I still feel financially trapped? It's because I was playing by the rules. I was trapped in the borrower's loophole.
Whose rules? Whose rules?
Not mine. It doesn't matter. They weren't my rules.
Okay, so
rules,
just
right?
For the listeners, I asked whose rules because I want you to anchor in on the success. He's an officer. He's a West Point grad. He's super successful in anything he's done. I have a similar story. Built $30 million recruitment division in 5 years for an equity-backed company. We scaled it from 30 to 600 million. Their rules. Putting the max amount of money in every year, wondering why the financial advisor kept asking me, well, Jason, how do you feel about taking on more risk? Or how do you feel about working another 20 years? Were you not listening? Right? I told you I wanted to be out of work, have time freedom in my 50s. Guess what? They weren't ever going to give it to me when I was playing by their rules. Guess what? When I didn't take action and look into a different way forward, ask different questions, take radical ownership, every single year that I bitched and moaned and complained about that stuff, that's on me. That's on me. So if you can imagine yourself, right? We're in a gratitude moment, because you can imagine yourself, whatever pain you're feeling right now, whatever lack of control you might feel, if you're not willing to learn a little bit more, if you're listening, you're already learning, you're already training, right? Have the conversation with us, book the call, go to our website, wealthwisebanking.com, jump on there, grab a call. You'll either talk to Jeremy or I, or talk to both of us. We don't care. We are here to guide you so you can share similar stories to us, because we were playing the same game for years. And did it work, Jeremy?
No, it didn't work. And that's why I had to find something new.
And that's why you've written a book about it. That's why you have a podcast about it. And so, as we're wrapping this up, it's a little longer episode, but I just want you all to think, again, back to anchoring to gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Gratitude shows you what you value. Again, the lesson shows you what you need to build and where you need to lean in.
Yeah, that's
Jeremy,
that's
give
really good.
give our audience, where you need to lean in. Oh, Jeremy, I had a guy say this today. I was going to the bank, actually yesterday. I was going to the bank, and the president was such a good guy at my local credit union. And every time I needed a new piece of equipment for my business, they were loaning me money. And then one day I walked in and it felt different. And I realized I was a vessel for their profit.
Mm-hmm. That's that.
How about that
That will
line?
fire you up right there.
And so as we're going to gratitude, Jeremy, let's leave the listeners with some things to think about, and then how they can find us, and we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, I mean, just start thinking about, we're in December, right? Where in your life have you felt most grateful this year? Like, just think about it. Like, what lessons and blessings have you had, and what opportunities? I mean, thank God that these are the problems that we have, right? So what things that you have happened this year, good and bad, that you're grateful for? I want you to just pause and reflect on that for a moment. And then, where do you feel most exposed? Where do you feel unprepared, either financially or with your own health, perhaps? Like, where do you need to start taking back a little bit more control?
And thank you, Jeremy, for those questions. And listeners, thank you for your attention all the time. And our listeners, right? The ambitious professionals, entrepreneurs, the disciplined. But if you're still feeling stuck, what do you think that you're craving more? Is it you want more income? You want a kind of peace that comes from a system you trust? This episode is really talking about gratitude and the struggles that came up this year, and how by being proactive, by being a builder, Jeremy and myself were able to keep moving forward and really look at all those things as blessings.
Yeah.
So
you just be deeply grateful for the system that carries you, right? And the system that I chose, the system that you chose, it is infinite banking. Whether it's emergencies or diagnoses, some sort of surprise repairs like I've had, you don't have to check out. You can just check in and check on your system, right? Because we built intentional systems to weather those storms and provide those guarantees in life. And, if you're looking back over your year, you can decide the last 5 years, where would I be today? If I started this 5 years ago, where would I be at today? Now think about where you're going to be the next 5 years. You don't have a crystal ball, but if you built a system that had guarantees and securities, right? How much more prepared are you going to be for what life brings you over the next 5 years?
And if that hits close to home, if you think that we're going to fast forward to the end of 2026, I'm going to do some quick math. We'll be on episode 104, and you're tired you end up in the same place. And in that same place, you have the same stresses, the same worries, and maybe the problem has gotten bigger because change keeps coming your way. And you keep saying, God, why is this happening to me? Don't be that person. We're at the end of the year. It's December. There's only so many openings left. Like we got parties to go to, Jeremy. We've got people to do. I've got black belt tests to take. We've got stuff to do. Calendars are already full, but if you're ready to be a builder before the year closes, when you're reflecting on what you're grateful for and where you feel unprepared, go again to our site, the wealthwisebanking.com, and schedule a call. We've never had one person complain about the thousands of people that we've helped change their life. If you're ready to make a change, when's a better time than now?
Yeah, I purposely did block off some white space just for this, right? It is truly important. But like you said, we got family to spend time with, right? We've got the holidays to be with our own loved ones. But at the same time, we're not going to put you off either. If you do want to schedule a meeting, I purposely did block off some white space. I know, Jason, you did as well.
Jeremy, you're nicer than I am. Yes,
Yeah.
of course, there's time open to speak with people, but they are filling up fast. And we only have another few days left of the year, right? Another 19 days till your book comes out. And Jeremy, as always, we're already in banking.
You're just not the banker yet.
All right, everybody. Be blessed. I had a great time with you as always. We're super grateful. Jeremy, high five. Number 52, 1 year in the books, brother.
All right. I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Thanks for joining us on WealthWise Banking. If today's episode inspired you, please subscribe, leave a review, and give us a like. It's a simple way to help others discover these empowering strategies and join our community. Together, we're building a network of people who believe financial freedom is within everyone's reach. Remember, financial independence is about making every dollar work for you, one step at a time. Until next time, stay inspired, stay in control, and keep building your legacy the wise way.